Hi everyone, this is Lewis here with East Coast Deer Tips, and this week we're going to be talking about how to clean and store your gun after your season's over. So I have mine here in this zipper case, so let's go ahead and take it out. This is my deer rifle here. It's a Savage 30-06 with a Nikon scope on it. Now, first things first, so what we want to do is we want to open up the chamber, make sure there's nothing in there. That's the number one thing that you should do when you're handling any kind of firearms, whether you're cleaning it, storing it, getting ready to shoot it. Make sure there's nothing in that chamber, and I can't stress that enough. That is the number one thing with firearms is going to be safety. So I've checked, made sure that there's nothing in the chamber. So then what you're going to want to do, close that bolt, put your gun on fire, open that receiver back up, and now you want to, this button right here that's on the side, you're going to want to press that button down and the trigger and pull the trigger at the same time. You do that, your receiver bolt should come right out for you. So we'll go ahead and take this receiving bolt, set it off to the side. This is what I'm going to be using to clean my gun with today. I bought this kit from Walmart, and I think I paid under $20 for it. And that's what I'm going to be using today. Now you may want to use gloves for this, because the Gun Master bore cleaner and stuff, you know, if you don't want to get it on your hands or anything. I'm going to be washing my hands right afterwards and stuff, so I'm not really too concerned. So we've got the ramrod here that we have to assemble in 3 pieces. Just screws together. Going on here. There we go. Okay, so once you get that together, we're going to first start out with a wire brush. So we're going to open up our kit here. Let's see here. It's very simple to use this. All you have to do is take your tips out, measure which one matches your barrel. It's going to be this one right here for this 30-06. So then all you do is you take your end here and it threads right in just like that. And then just cram it down the barrel. And I like to run this through a good 2 or 3 times just to make sure that you get all that gunpowder residue and stuff out. Looks like my tip came off here. So that is a problem that I've run into with this Walmart. It's not the best quality, but it's better than nothing. So sometimes when you're on a budget, you got to work with what you got. So I run that through a couple times. Then we're going to take this off, and we're going to be done with this now. So you can put this right back in the case. We're going to be done with that. So the next thing you're going to want to do, as you can see, I've used this one a couple times. This is, it's a softer tip to use to run through the barrel, and you just thread it on just like that. And then we're going to want to take our bore cleaner. Let's see, Gun Master bore cleaner. We'll open that right up. Go right ahead and dip it in there. Not a whole lot, just enough to wet it. Just like that, you know, just get it a little wet. Then you're going to want to... The same thing applies for whatever gun you're using. The tip all depends on the size of your bore. So just go right ahead and Keep running it on through. As you can see, it's pretty dirty. So now we're going to go right ahead and take this off. This is where the gloves come in handy, in case anyone's wondering. Then what we're going to want to do is take one of these patches here that comes in the kit. It's just a cloth patch. Let's see here. Now, I'm not entirely sure, but the last time I used this, I think I just threaded it in and stuck this on this pin here. And then just kind of wrapped it around, and you know, nothing too fancy with it. So just tighten everything back up on your Walmart setup here. Then just take this and run it through. If you can get it more than once, that's better. Sometimes it'll fall off. It fell off, but that's alright. But as you can see, that's a lot of that gunpowder residue that come out of there. So you may want to, if it's real bad, you may want to run a second cloth through third cloth. I mean, you can even get packs of these cloths for cheap too at Walmart. Then the next step we're going to do is we're going to take another cloth and do the same thing, only this time we're going to be using the lubricant here, which is just, it's oil to help protect it. That's all it is. But what we should do is take our cleaner here and put that back in. So I'm going to go ahead and close this back up. Put it back in here. So then what we're going to do is do the same thing. Put this on the tip here. Wrap it around a little bit. Then again, we're just going to only apply a small amount, nothing too crazy, just a little bit, just enough to wet your cloth. And then feed that right through. Just like that. Oh, I can get it again. Oh, maybe not. Okay. So then we're going to take that, set that aside too. Then the last thing we're going to do is take one more cloth out, or you can take a rag to do this, it doesn't matter. But take just a small bit of your oil here. Be very careful not to get too much. Again, this is where the gloves come in handy. Then you're going to want to take this, grab your receiver here, just kind of wipe this down, because this can get rusted too, especially if you hunt in the weather a lot. You know, just kind of wipe your receiver down, try to get all the nooks and crannies as best you can. Set this back aside again. Then we're going to go ahead and take any, like I like to put a little bit on the scope, you know, get that nice and, because believe it or not, when they're sitting, they can still collect dirt and stuff. You'd be surprised, especially even though they're still in a case, it doesn't matter. But another thing I've noticed too is these screws in the scope right here, these can get rusted too if you're not careful, if you're not paying attention. Water, if it's raining, can get in these screw holes right here. Then if you let it sit for too long, it'll get rusted. So what I usually do, a good little trick, is I take a Q-tip and I cut the head off of the Q-tip, that fuzzy part, and I'll take my cloth and I'll put it in there, and then I'll just take that Q-tip and run it through right on top of the cloth to really get in there to clean it. But that's what I do for a trick. So get all that exposed metal that you can. As you can see, I taped my gun all up. So all I really have to worry about is the scope and all that. And so then once you're finished with that, we'll go ahead and put the cap on our oil. Put that away. Put your gun back on fire if you haven't left it on there or not. Get your pin started. Then all you got to do is press the trigger and it pushes your pin back in just like that. Just like that. And then make sure you got a nice smooth action. As you can see, it's nice and smooth, doesn't stick at all. And there you have it. All done. But just remember that number one tip. When you're handling a firearm, make sure it's unloaded. And also, too, make sure you put your gun on the safe when you store it. Just in case. Because you never know. A child could get into it. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully you have them where they can't get to them. But just in case, it doesn't matter. Leave your gun on safe and leave it unloaded. I can't stress that enough. Because that's how accidents happen. Don't leave anything in the chamber. When you get back to your truck or your vehicle after you're done hunting, make sure that gun is unloaded. You know, even if you're a road hunter, it doesn't take that long to slap a shell in there and get on a set of tracks. You know, do what you got to do. But anytime when you're getting into a vehicle or you're storing your gun after hunting season, make sure that it's unloaded. It's very dangerous if it's loaded. And if you forget about it, that it's loaded, and you go and you chamber one, and then you shoot it, you know, you can ruin your gun. Bad things will happen. So just don't forget it. Just unload it. It doesn't take that long to do. This gun has a clip on it that holds 4 or 5 shells. Just unload it. Or take the clip out of it, but take the shells out of the clip too, you know. And also another good tip too is store your ammo separately from the gun. So even if someone does manage to find the gun, they're not going to know where the ammo is. So you don't need that. So that's going to conclude today's video on gun cleaning. And we'll see you next time for another deer tip. Tune in next week and we'll have one for you. And thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.